Hi guys, it's Matti, and today I'm going to be reading you chapter 2 from the book, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Mother didn't expect to have anything to do with the Christmas pageant except to make me and my little brother Charlie be in it. We didn't want to. And to make my father go and see it, and he didn't want to. Every year he said the same thing. I've seen the Christmas pageant. You haven't seen this year's Christmas pageant, Mother would tell him. Charlie is a shepherd this year. Charlie was a shepherd last year. No, you go on and go. I'm just gonna put on my bathrobe and sit by the fire and relax. There's never anything different about the Christmas pageant. There's something different this year, Mother said. What? Charlie's wearing your bathrobe. So that year, my father went to see his bathrobe, he said. Actually, he went every year, but it was always a struggle. Mother said that she was the contribution to make him go to the Christmas pageant. But then she got stuck with the whole thing when Miss George Armstrong fell and broke her leg. We knew about this as soon as it happened because Miss Armstrong only lived about a block away and a half away. We heard the sirens and saw the ambulance and watched a policeman carry her out on a stretcher. Call Mr. Armstrong at work, she said. Shut off the stove under my potatoes. Inform the ladies' aid that I won't be at the meeting. One of the neighbor women called out, Helen, are you in much pain? And Miss Armstrong yelled back, Yes, terrible. Don't let those children tear up my privilege hedge. Even in pain, Miss Armstrong could still give orders. She was so good at giving orders that she was just naturally the head of anything she belonged to. And at the church, she did everything but preach. Most of all, she ran the Christmas pageant every year. And here she was, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, flat on her back. I don't know what they'll do about the Christmas pageant, Mother said. But the pageant wasn't the only problem. Miss Armstrong was also the chairman of the Ladies' Aid Bazaar and the coordinator of the Women's Society potluck. And there was a lot of telephoning back and forth to see who would take over those jobs. Mother had a list of names, and while she was calling people about the Ladies' Aid Bazaar, Miss Homer McCartney was trying to call Mother about the potluck supper. But Miss McCartney got somebody else to do that, and Mother got somebody else to do the bazaar. So the only thing left was the Christmas pageant, and Mother got stuck with that. I could run the potluck supper with one hand tied behind my back, Mother told us. All you have to do is make sure everybody doesn't bring meatloaf. But the Christmas pageant? Our Christmas pageant isn't what you call 4-star entertainment. Miss Armstrong breaking her leg was the only unexpected thing that would ever happen to it. The script is standard, the inn, the stable, the shepherds, the star, and so are the costumes, and so is the casting. Primary kids are angels, intermediate kids are shepherds, big boys are wise men. Elmer Hopkins, the minister's son, has been Joseph for as long as I can remember, and my friend Alice Wicklin is Mary because she's so smart, so neat and clean, and most of all, so holy looking. All the rest of us are in the angel choir, lined up according to height because nobody can sing parts. As a matter of fact, nobody can sing. We're strictly a no talent outfit except for a girl named Alberta Bottles who whistles. Last year, Alberta whistled What Child Is This for a change of pace, but nobody liked it, especially Miss Bottles because Alberta put too much into it and ran out of air and passed out cold on the manger in the middle of the third verse. Aside from that, though, it's always just the Christmas story, year after year, with people shuffling around in bathrobes and bedsheets and sharp wings. Well, my father said, once Mother got put in charge of it, here's your big chance. Why don't you cancel the pageant and show movies? Movies of what? Mother said. I don't know. Fred Stamper has big 5 reels of Yellowstone National Park. What does Yellowstone National Park have to do with the Christmas pageant? Mother said. I know a good movie, Charlie said. We had it in school. It shows a heart operation and 2 kids got sick. Never mind, Mother said. I guess you all think you're pretty funny. But the Christmas pageant is a tradition, and I don't plan to do anything different. Of course, nobody even thought about the Herdmans in connection with the Christmas pageant. Most of us spent all week in school being pounded, poked, and pushed around by the Herdmans. So we looked forward to a Sunday as a real day of rest. Once a month, the whole Sunday school would go to church for the first 15 minutes of service and do something special. Sing a song, act out a parable, recite the Bible verses. Usually the little kids sang Jesus Loves Me, which was all they were up to do. But when my brother Charlie was in with the little kids, his teacher thought of something to do different. She had everybody write down on a piece of paper what they liked best about Sunday school, or draw a picture of what they liked best. And when we all got into the church, she stood up in front of the congregation and said, Today we have some of our youngest boys and girls to tell you what Sunday school means to them. Betsy, what do you have on your paper? Betsy Kartkoff stood up and said, What I like best about Sunday school is the good feeling when I go. I don't think she wrote all that down, but it sounded terrific. Of course. One kid said he liked hearing all the Bible stories. Another kid said, I like learning about songs about Jesus. 8 or 9 kids stood up and said what they liked best. It was something good about Jesus, God, cheerful friends, or a nice teacher. Finally, the teacher said, I think we have time for one more. Charlie, can you tell us about Sunday school? My little brother, Charlie, stood up and said, and didn't even have to look at his piece of paper. What I like best about Sunday school is, he said, there aren't any herdmans here. Well, the teacher should have stuck with Jesus loves me because everybody forgot all the nice churchy things the kids said before and remembered what Charlie said about the herdmans. When we went to go pick him up after church, the teacher told us, I'm sure there are many things Charlie likes about Sunday school. Maybe he will tell you what some of them are. She smiled at all of us, but you could tell she was really mad. On the way home, I asked Charlie, what are some of the other things you like that she was talking about? He shrugged. I like other stuff, but she said to write down what we like best, and I like that there are no herdmans. Not a very Christmas sentiment, my father said. Maybe not, but it's a practical one, Mother told him. Last year, Charlie had spent the whole second grade being black and blue because he had to sit next to Leroy Herdman. At the end, it was Charlie's fault because the Herdman showed up in our church. For 3 days in a row, Leroy Herdman stole the dessert from Charlie's lunchbox. And finally, Charlie just gave up trying to do anything about it. Oh, go on and take it, he said. I don't care. I get all the desserts I want in Sunday school. Leroy wanted to know more about that. What kind of desserts, he said. Chocolate cake, Charlie told him, and candy bars, and cookies, and Kool-Aid, and when we get refreshments all the time, all we want. You're a liar, Leroy said. Leroy was right. We got jelly beans at Easter, pumpkin cookies on Children's Day, and that was it. Then we got ice cream too, Charlie went on, and donuts and popcorn balls. Who gets it to you, Leroy wanted to know. The minister, Charlie said. He didn't know who else to stay. Of course, the only thing that was wrong thing to tell the Herdmans if he wanted them to stay away. And sure enough, the very next Sunday, there they were, slouching in the Sunday school. Eyes peeled for the refreshments. Where do you get the cake? Ralph asked the Sunday school superintendent. And Mr. Grandy said, well, son, I don't know about any cake, but they're collecting food packages out in the kitchen. What he meant was the canned stuff that we brought in every year as a Thanksgiving present for the orphan home. It was just our bad luck that the Herdmans picked that Sunday to come. Because when they saw the canned spaghetti and beans and grape drink and the peanut butter, they figured there might be some truth to what Charlie said about the refreshments. So they stayed. They didn't sing any hymns or say any prayers, but they did make a little bit of money because I saw Imogen snake a handful of coins out of the collection basket when it passed her. At the end of the morning, Mr. Grandy came to every class and made an announcement. We'll be starting rehearsals soon for our Christmas pageant, he said, and all next week after service, we'll gather all in the back of the church and decide who will play the main roles. But of course, we want every boy and girl in our Sunday school to take part in the pageant. So be sure to let your parents know that you'll be staying a little later next Sunday. Mr. Grandy made the same speech every year, so he didn't get any wild applause. Besides, as I said, we all knew we would play cards we were going to play. Alice Wickland must have been a little bit worried, though, because she turned around to me with a sticky smile on her face and said, I hope you're going to be in the angel choir again. You're so good in the angel choir. What she meant was, I hope you won't get married just because your mother's running the pageant. But she didn't have to worry. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be in the angel choir either, but everybody has to be something. All of a sudden, Imogen Herdman dug me in the ribs with her elbow. She has the sharpest elbow of anybody I've ever known. What's the pageant? She said. It's a play, I said, for the first time that day, except for when she saw the collection basket. Imogen looked interested. All the Herdmans are big moviegoers, though they never pay their own way. 1 or 2 of them start a fight at the box office of the theater while the others slip in. They get their popcorn the same way. Then they spread out all over the place and the manager can never find them before the picture's over. What's the play about? Imogen asked. It's about Jesus, I said. Everything is here, she muttered. So I figured that Imogen didn't care much about the Christmas pageant. But I was wrong.